Hello and welcome everyone. Thank you very much for tuning in. This is a screencast-o-matic presentation and recording for the warm-ups for the cycle that we're currently on in world cultures. Before we get started, please let me encourage you to open up to the correct warm packet template and get ready to write down the question and the answer, and remember to format your content in a different colored font. Remember that you can replay any part of this presentation for detail, clarity, or repetition later on. Let's go ahead and get started. From Monday and Tuesday. Generally speaking, what is India like as a country? What are some noteworthy facts about Indian culture? We'll give you a few seconds here to copy down the question, and then we'll proceed with the answer accordingly. So the answer to the question of the day is as follows. First, in terms of geographical proximity, India is located in the southwest part of Asia as a continent. Specifically, India is located on the Indian subcontinent. On a map, you'll see this region of Asia sticking out from mainland Asia. India is also located between East and West Asia, as is the bridgeway between China and the greater Middle East. Now, in terms of population, India currently has between 1.2 billion people, and this number is actually rising. They have a unique and eclectic ethnic group population too, as many people in India are of different ethnicities and nationalities. From a governmental standpoint, India has a parliamentary democracy, so they actually have a president who serves more as the head of state, and a prime minister who's the head of the legislative process, so to speak. They also have a legislative branch and a judicial branch too. In many ways, it is very similar to the British and, of course, the United States American government model. From an economic standpoint, India's largest sectors are agriculture, manufacturing, sales and service, and tourism. You might be familiar with a few products, goods, and services that actually come from India. In terms of standard of living, India has a wealthy upper-class business elite and also a wealthy political upper-class elite. However, there are also masses of impoverished people who are living well below the minimum wage gap from an American comparison standpoint. This gap is actually widening in India too. Some controversies about the country, and the reason why we talk about India in a world cultures class, is that India actually has problems with ethnic cooperation. There are many differences between ethnic groups that have yet to be healed, problems with poverty, as mentioned previously, and problems with pollution too. Let's move on to the next question of the day. From Thursday and Friday, what is Hinduism like as a philosophy and religion? Please be specific. We'll give you a few seconds to copy down the question, and then we'll move on into the answer respectively. So, Hinduism, generally speaking, is a polytheistic philosophy/religion where many people believe in achieving enlightenment and liberation. Hinduism is rather complex, and some people might be quick to note that Hinduism has, at least from our perspective, a lot of differences than, say, our Western world religions we talked about earlier. Now, the main purpose of Hinduism is where Hindus, or followers of the religion, try to live a life in accordance with the teachings and traits of serving their dharma, or specified duties in life, and achieving moksha, which is freedom, enlightenment, and light. Some general beliefs of most Hindus is that Hindus believe in honoring different entities or deities that interact with everyday life. Hindus tend to give different gods and goddesses a relatively mystical interaction with their mortal lives and immortal lives. Hindus also believe in reincarnation, which is the rebirth of the soul, which often goes through a cycle, which we'll talk about later. Some practices of Hindus is that they believe in shrine worship, offerings to deities and entities, and special holidays. Now, something different about Hinduism, if you want to designate somewhat of a holy text, even though Hindus don't necessarily see it as this way, there are a series of divinely inspired works which show the gods and forces at work in our world. They also, of course, give light to the philosophies and ideologies of Hinduism, like the Veda scripts or the Rig Veda. And some controversies about Hinduism is that there is no technical, real universal way of worshiping the Hindu gods. Everybody seems to subscribe to their own practices in many ways. It's rather freeform. The caste system is quite controversial too, which we alluded to in the previous lesson, which entails the rigid differentiation of different classes in the social hierarchy of India. And also, Hindus tend to be at severe odds with their Muslim counterparts, which creates a lot of hostilities in the region. So there you guys have it, both of the questions and the answers to the warm-ups. Thank you very much for tuning in, and good luck with completing the corresponding lessons.